delay there, but I was just like,
Having a residence.
worlds collided for a second.
Yeah, right.
My name is Jerry. Nice to meet you.
Well, that's good. Good question, too.
Hey, I'm Debbie Wood. Hey, Andrew. Welcome.
Close to the door.
Are you off?
I got moved out to here.
I know, I'm like,
Oh,
Jose.
you just got relocated.
Jose Bella, I want to introduce myself. Welcome to the show.
Look at this show.
Get it all.
Your phone. Glad you're here.
Oh, yeah. Listen, I have zero desire to take.
Didn't sense anything terribly troublesome today.
Yes.
No one on.
We can't get any much.
Yeah.
They're going.
My son's an Air Force
I know,
pilot, so
they're going away too.
taking
He told
his
me.
call. It's going to be
Michael.
and
He said they're going
Mom's
to do
night.
it.
Just maybe 16 seats in a real toilet, not the P2
Granddaughter's first walk.
So it felt like we were flying in first
Well,
class.
that's the thing, like when you'd see it, I'd be out on the runway and it, KC-10 or
That's your first?
Yeah.
Yes. Land, and all of a sudden you'd see people.
Thank you.
And it was just when I first started,
Kind
it
of
was weird.
because it's a tanker. A lot of people through the fuel inside. It's all right out.
Yeah, it was, and if you took a hop and you wanted to go, let's say Italy or something, too, you wanted one of those because it was like a jet.
We were in
30.
We refueled a B-52 on the way there.
Oh, you did?
Yeah,
Oh, that's cool.
and I got a chance in Barksdale to climb into the cockpit of that. Man, that's like broom cloth with 5 guys. It's tiny.
Yeah, no, I haven't been inside that one, but
Well, it's. I mean, you're a pretty tall guy.
I just know I guarded a lot of them.
It's
lately.
easy to get in, but difficult to get out of.
Is it really?
Yeah, because you have to, you go in straight, and it's got 2 decks. There's like the electronics area, and then there's the pilot place, and it is just amazing that the guy that was giving us a tour was a pilot, 26
Yolanda.
and it's like 6'3".
Traffic
He
was,
says that he's
was
flown
terrible. I don't know where they come
his
from, but
long
man,
distance
the Belcher
flying.
Road, whatever. I don't know if there was an accident in Gulf to Bay or
They
Like
really-
in the air?
something was. And I didn't use navigation. Then I used navigation. It got out of there. What the heck? It
whip around the world, but
was like there was a million cars.
sleep either on this tiny little metal floor or in the seat. On the Casey 135, set up a cot. You can sleep in the chairs. In fact, the chairs that we had reclined, and they were like almost like bucket seats. They were pretty comfortable.
Yes.
Had more legroom than an airplane, which was nice.
Yeah, I'd never flown on one of them.
Yeah, we did. We also, on the way back from Barksdale, we refueled an F-35. That was pretty cool.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, we could take pictures of that when they didn't want us to take pictures of that. But yeah, that B-52 is gargantuan. It made the KC-135 look small.
It is a big plane for sure.
That's,
Yeah.
One of the biggest one is C5s. I guarded a lot of
So I
that.
missed half of them.
so that's what my son originally had put into
Yeah,
flying.
you went behind me before. I think
We
that
knew
time
going
too,
in
when we
that-
were in the other building.
Usually for more experienced pilots, that's a big, that's a big plane.
Oh, I know, yeah.
That thing is, look, if you could drive tanks through it.
Yeah, right.
That's a big
Yeah,
deal.
one
Just letting somebody in. That's good. Somebody's coming.
had helicopter.
It's really 9
You know,
o'clock.
they folded the.
Yeah.
And I was like, wow, man. I mean, I guarded them for years, but I'm just saying,
Yeah, right? I mean,
You're down there.
yeah, they could certainly carry a lot.
They moved everybody around.
All new people.
We're all on.
Yep.
Wonder,
Hey, how's it going, Susie? Yeah, good to see you too.
before the,
I'm out of sorts.
Yeah, well, I don't know where she comes from. St. Pete. Did I start? There's 6 of us. It's 9 o'clock.
How's it going? Good to see you. Nice to see you. Jason.
Take it out.
Just gonna wait a minute. Okay.
Strike the gavel.
Oh, I forgot. I forgot to do that.
Feels good.
At least I hit it square.
Fingers out of the way.
Good morning and welcome to the February 5th, 2025 Pinellas County Board of Adjustment and Appeals hearing. We received your cases in advance and we have studied them and in some cases visited the site. Please understand we do not bring these cases. We are citizens tasked with weighing the evidence submitted in order to make the most informed decision possible. We have no personal interest or stake in these cases except for the overall good of the community. Staff has made a recommendation on each case, and that recommendation is input only and may not necessarily be the opinion of the board. If you're planning to speak for or against any application, you must be sworn in prior to testifying. If you have not been sworn in, please do so now with the clerk at the front table over there. This is how we will proceed. When your case is called by the staff, the applicant will come to the podium, give us your name and address. The applicant will then present their case, including comments from any supporters in attendance. Comments by supporters should be new information, not just an expression of support. The applicant may display the volume of support by a show of hands. Speakers will have 3 minutes. Opponents will then be given the opportunity to state their objection. If there are numerous opponents, it is preferable for them to select 1 or 2 spokespersons. Speakers will have 3 minutes. Any subsequent objectors should add new information, not just rehash prior stated objections. Opponents also may display the volume of objectors by a show of hands. This will be the only opportunity for opponents to state their side. The applicant will then return solely to rebut the comments of any opponents and may not bring any new information or testimony at that time. Finally, we will close the public hearing and the board will discuss the case, make a motion, and vote. Our attorney will now provide additional information on our procedures.
Thank you, Madam Chair. The matters heard by the Board of Adjustment and Appeals are quasi-judicial in nature. Please note that only competent, substantial, fact-based testimony or evidence may be considered by the board in deciding the matters before it. Pure speculation or opinion, not based on competent facts, cannot be legally considered by the board. Lay testimony with fact-based support, including but not limited to meeting minutes, surveys, engineering reports, etc., may be considered competent and substantial evidence. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. With that, Michael, will you call the first case?
Good morning. Our first case is TY 2-24-12. This is a modification of a previously approved Type 2 use to allow a 27,562 square foot community recreation center in an RA zone for the property located at 1550 16th Street in Palm Harbor. Staff recommends conditional approval. The subject site has historically been utilized as a community center and recreation center, the Palm Harbor Parks and Rec Center. There was a prior BA in 2015 that allowed the vacant eastern portion of the site to be utilized for recreation purposes. The Palm Harbor Parks and Rec Department intends to demolish the existing recreation center that was constructed in 1980. That's the building located on the northeastern portion of the site, and construct a new 27,562 square foot, two-story recreation center. The existing community center on the south side of the site that was built in 1999 will remain. The existing parking lot on the western portion of the property will remain, but there will be addition of parking and retention added to the north with the new building. The new community center is intended to provide recreational activities, activities that they currently provide in between the building proposed to be demoed and the building that's remaining. This will just give them more room, modernization to be able to use this more effectively. In addition, the recreation center will also be utilized as a storm shelter. It's a Penny for Pinellas project that was approved to provide needed a storm shelter in the Palm Harbor area. So it's staff's opinion that the modification of the type 2 use approval with the recommended conditions will further accommodate the community center's needs for future enhancements and functionality of their existing institution. Staff again recommends conditional approval with requirements of site plan and fees, and also the adherence of the conditions that were approved previously with the BA in 2015.
Michael, what did we do in 2015? Can you tell me?
2015 added the outdoor recreation areas, so soccer ball fields on the site. There was, because it was more outdoor use, the neighboring properties to the east, residential, came out and not in opposition, but in concern, and so there was restrictions on distance and lighting and time.
I remember. Okay, thanks.
Is the applicant here, please? I know she's here. Because I rode on the elevator with her. Good morning. Your name and address, please?
Derek Weaver, I work for Construction Services for the county, so 509 East Avenue South is the office.
Erica Winford with Palm Harbor Parks and Recreation, 1500 16th Street in Palm Harbor.
Thank you. Are there any opponents to this? Oh, okay.
Seeing no objectors, I'm going to move for the staff's recommendation of conditional approval of the type 2 use for the Palm Harbor Parks and Recreation Facility.
Second.
So we have a motion for conditional approval by Mr. Baumstein and a second by Mr. Bello. Are there any other discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Passes 6-0. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Our next case is TY2-24-11. This is a type 2 use to allow for a place of worship in an RA zone for the property located at 1040 Tampa Road in Palm Harbor. Staff recommends conditional approval. The subject property is Crossroads Chapel Church of God of Prophecy of Palm Harbor. The site is approximately 1.36 acres located on Tampa Road. It's currently improved with a place of worship and fellowship hall, which church has been in operation since 1968. The church would like to modernize their current facilities and infrastructure, so their intended use is to demolish the existing buildings on the property and accessory structures and rebuild a new 9,600 square foot place of worship and administration building with associated parking and retention. The proposed place of worship will meet all the minimum development parameters and parking requirements to serve its use. Traffic impacts are anticipated to be minor. Drainage requirements will be addressed during site plan review. The proposed design meets the intent of the Community Assembly Facility Use section concerning architectural compatibility on a residentially zoned parcel as required by the Land Development Code. So staff's recommending conditional approval with the site plan permits and fees, and then also maintenance of all existing easements on site. There is a county-owned retention facility that they take access through this property currently to get to. So we're asking for that to stay.
Is the applicant here? When we call your case, if you can just come up while he's talking, that would be appreciated. Morning.
Okay.
Name and address, please.
Good morning, Sean Cashman, Gulf Coast Consulting, 13825 Icod Boulevard, Clearwater, Florida. I can't add too much to Michael's presentation, but I am here to answer any questions that there may be.
Thank you, Sean. Are there any opponents to this action? No.
Seeing no opposition, I will move for approval of the staff's recommendation for conditional approval of the type 2 use in accordance with the findings of fact as outlined in the staff report.
Second.
So we have a motion for conditional approval by Mr. Baumstein and a second by Mr. Bello. Is there any other discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Passes 7-1. Thank you.
Thank you all very
Sean.
much.
You're welcome.
I'm sorry?
7 to 1.
7-1? Yeah.
There's only 7 of us.
Oh, did I say 7-1? 7-0, sorry. I'm like, I did 7. Sorry, Michael, go ahead.
No, that's all right. Our next case is VAR-24-06. This is a variance to allow for the conversion of an unconditioned space, a screen room, to a conditioned space, a closet, having a 5.8-foot side setback from the eastern property line where 6 feet is required, and a 6.8-foot rear setback from the southern property line where 10 feet is required in an R3 zone for the property located at 1334 Michigan Avenue in Palm Harbor. Staff recommends a conditional approval. The subject property is a 55-foot wide by 115-foot deep residential lot fronting on Michigan Avenue in Palm Harbor, developed with a single-family home with a covered screen room, screen enclosure, and utility shed. Additionally, the lot backs up to an unimproved 20-foot wide alley. The alley appears to be accessible, but it's unclear if it will be improved. So the owner intends to renovate the existing single-family home, including enclosing a covered screen room of approximately 134 square feet. It's under the existing roof into a closet, so there'll be no increase in the footprint of the structure, so it's going from unconditioned space to conditioned space. So it's staff's opinion that the renovations will have little impact on the neighboring properties, as the conversion would not increase the current setbacks. So staff's recommending conditional approval. We ask for all permits and fees. And we also have a condition on there that they obtain a right-of-way utilization permit, as the current detached shed is in a utility easement in the back, which is allowed because it's portable. It's not a permanent structure. So the utility department has asked that they obtain a utility use permit, or a right-of-way use permit, so that way if they need to get in there to the easement, they have the right to move the shed out of there.
Thank you. Thank you. Good morning. Your
Morning.
name and address, please?
Woodrow Beckelheimer, 2168 Citrus Hill Lane.
All right. Are there any opponents to this action? No.
Seeing no opposition, and inasmuch as the footprint of the building doesn't change, I'm going to move for the staff's recommendation of conditional approval in accordance with the findings of fact as outlined in the staff report.
Second.
So we have a motion for conditional approval by Mr. Baumstein and a second by Mr. Bello. Is there any other discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? You got your variance 7-0. Is that right?
So now what do I do about the permit? You get the permit for the,
Yeah. She'll take care of you.
all right, thank you.
Sure. Thank you.
Our next case is VAR-24-28. This is a request for a variance for a dock length requirement in unincorporated area under County Code Section 58-555, subsection B, subsection 1, for the property at 418 8th Avenue North in Tierra Verde. I'm going to turn this over to Water and Nav staff, who will provide you the details on it.
Good morning.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Julie Sims, Environmental Program Manager for the Water and Navigation Section. And this is a variance request for the Stephen R. Brown Gift Trust with Carolyn Brown and Richard Brown as the trustees. This is an aerial showing the subject site, which is located at 418 8th Avenue North in Tierra Verde, which is south of the Don Cesar and north of Shell Key. And here's a zoomed-in aerial. The lot in question is outlined in red. And then this is a pictometry aerial. You see the subject property with the red pin, and then you can also see neighboring docks within the area. The variance being requested today is for length of the boat dock. Section 58-555B1 states, private docks to be constructed in the waters of the county shall be constructed so that the length of the dock, excluding tie poles, shall not extend from the mean high water or sea wall of the property further than 1/2 the width of the property at the waterfront. This requirement may be waived by the county provided that signed statements of no objection from both adjacent property owners encroached upon have been submitted. The width of the subject property at the seawall is 70 feet, therefore the max length allowed is 35 feet. The proposed structure is 104 feet long, thus the variance request is for 69 feet. The applicants were able to obtain a signed statement of no objection from the adjacent owner to the north, but not the neighbor to the south. And here are some site photos. This first one is just looking straight out from the subject property, so looking west. And this one is looking west-northwest.
So Julie, those pilings were a previous dock that was on this site?
Correct.
And do you know what the dimensions of the previous dock was?
I know the length. It was permitted in 1988 at 72 feet back then.
Okay.
And then this last site photo is looking southwest, or the neighbor to the left as you look at the water. So,
Do you know
per se-
I'm
go
sorry, I
ahead.
keep interrupting you. Do you know how long that neighbor's dock is, the one to the left, to the south?
I have, yes, if you'll give me one moment, I actually have an aerial I could put up for you showing some representative lengths.
Yeah, 125.
The one to the south is 125?
That's what the drawings show.
Actually, I don't know if that's, so we have this one right here, 125.
I got you.
I know it's small, sorry. This one's 125. Here's the subject property. Just to the north, we have 75.5, and then 94.5 to the tide pools that are out here. And you'll notice that these shorelines are further out than the subject property. And then we have 74.5 to the end of the dock, 94 to the piling, 84 feet here, 83, and 85.
Okay.
So just some representative ones. So per section 58-539C, in deciding whether to grant a variance, the Board of Adjustments and Appeals, or County Administrator, or his or her designee shall make a positive finding of fact to all of the criteria set forth in section 138-231 of the Pinellas County Land Development Code. Each of these sections noted on this slide are discussed in depth in your staff report. For the information provided to you in this report, staff has made a positive finding of fact to all of these criteria. Therefore, staff recommends approval of the variance to section 58-555B1 of the Pinellas County Code. And if you have any further questions, I'm happy to answer.
Are there any questions for Julie?
The neighbor to the south did not give permission for the exception.
Correct,
And the neighbor to the north did.
correct,
Had the neighbor to the south signed off, we wouldn't be here today.
correct.
Okay, so, and the total length of the proposed dock is
104 feet.
104 feet. And when you talk about total length, you don't really count the outrigger pilings, do you? It's just the decking, isn't it?
It's inclusive of the pilings.
Yeah, it generally is.
They don't have any additional piles on their plans.
I see that. but I
Yeah,
was
some
talking
people
about
do
the
put
na-
what we call bumper piles out at the
Yeah.
end, and we would count that as the total length.
Huh. Well, don't come by my house.
Okay.
Okay. I don't have any other.
Any other
questions.
questions for Julie? Okay, thank you, thank you. This is the applicant here, I'm sure. And are there anybody in opposition of this? Okay.
Hi, my name's Micah Thompson. I'm the marine contractor that both designed this dock. Just a little bit of background, as we worked with staff to go over several iterations. Part of the reason that and the reason they wanted us to do several iterations of the dock is if we located the main body of the dock at that 35 feet, it would be over seagrass. So a large portion, we did about 15 iterations of this with staff going back and forth, try to mitigate the impact on the environment. So as the homeowner just said, what can I get? I bought this home seeing a previous dock there. It's the whole reason I bought this property, and I want to move to Florida and make it my home. So that's how we got to the design that we got. Any questions?
It's not the first dock neighbor feud case we've had.
No, no.
No.
Thank you.
And the objecting neighbor is not here?
Apparently not.
Didn't feel that strongly about it. Okay.
There wasn't a letter.
I don't have any issue with this, given the environmental considerations that are there and the length of the neighboring docks that are there. This is not out of kilter with the rest of the neighborhood. I'm going to move for approval of the variance, approval of the, for the staff recommendation of approval of the variance in accordance with the findings of fact as outlined in the staff report.
A motion for conditional approval by Mr. Baumstein and a second by Mr. Bello. Is there any other discussion or any other questions? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Passes 7-0. Thank you.
Move for approval of the minutes of the January 2nd meeting.
Second.
You guys are on a roll.
Got it.
We have a motion to approve the minutes by Mr. Baumstein and a second by Mr. Bello. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
It passes 7-0.
Nice work. May all your meetings be done by
No
9:30.
kidding. Thank you so much.
Wow, Speedy Gonzalez.
Thank you, everybody, for coming and welcome. We didn't even introduce you.
Okay.
Introduce yourself.
Yeah, tell us a little bit about
Active
yourself.
people.
So yes, my name's Andrew Hunsaker. I live over in St. Pete, Treasure Island area.
The neighbors.
We're a real estate development and land general contractor as well. But, so yeah, no, I'm just excited to be out here, and so I've pretty good knowledge of the county. I've lived here my whole life, so I'm familiar with land use development and requirements and stuff like that. So look forward to helping and serving.
That's great. Thank you. Thank you so much. Welcome. Welcome. Okay. Guess we're done.
For sure. As soon as I saw a dock on there, I'd be like, oh, there'll be 50 people in here for the dock, man.
Good. I feel bad to drove all the way up here and it's already over.